Hello there and welcome. Tonight, we'll be exploring one of the most mysterious and quietly beautiful subjects there is, the universe itself. This is a space where there's no rush, no pressure to understand everything, and no need to stay fully awake. You're safe here, listening softly, as the vastness of the cosmos unfolds at its own gentle pace. As you begin to settle in, imagine looking out into a sky that stretches far beyond what the eye can see. A sky filled with distant lights, slow-moving galaxies, and silent spaces so wide they soften the mind simply by existing. The universe is unimaginably large, and yet it asks nothing from you, only that you drift with it for a while. For all that we've learned, there is still so much we don't understand. Strange signals pass through space without explanation. Entire regions exist beyond what we can observe. Forces shape galaxies and time itself in ways we're only beginning to sense. These mysteries aren't meant to worry us. They remind us that it's okay not to have every answer. Tonight's journey isn't about solving these mysteries. It's about resting within them. Let your thoughts slow down, like stars drifting quietly through space. If sleep arrives, you're welcome to follow it. And if you stay awake, simply listen and relax as the universe reveals its calm, unanswered wonders. Before we begin, if you enjoy gentle science journeys like this, you're welcome to subscribe and support the channel. Now, settle in, get comfortable, maybe slip on your headphones, and let's drift together into the most relaxing mysteries of the universe. When we look up at the night sky, it can feel as though we're seeing everything there is to see. The stars appear scattered across a vast black canvas, steady and complete, as if the universe has laid itself out plainly for us to observe. But the truth is much quieter and much more humbling. What we can see is only a small portion of what actually exists. Most of the universe lies beyond the reach of our eyes, our instruments, and even our imagination. This idea doesn't need to feel unsettling. Instead, it can be deeply calming, reminding us that we don't have to grasp everything all at once. The universe is larger than our understanding, and that's perfectly okay. Human vision, even at its best, is limited. Our eyes evolved to notice movement, shapes, and light within a narrow range that helped our ancestors survive on Earth. We can see sunlight, moonlight, and the glow of nearby stars, but beyond that, our senses quietly fall away. The universe doesn't change because of this limitation. It continues to expand, shift, and exist in full, regardless of whether we can observe it. There is something gentle in knowing that reality doesn't depend on our attention. It moves forward patiently, without urgency, waiting for us to notice what we can, when we can. Even with the help of telescopes, our view remains incomplete. Modern instruments can detect faint light from distant galaxies and subtle signals traveling across space, but they still capture only a fraction of what's out there. Much of the universe doesn't shine in ways our tools can easily detect. Some regions are hidden behind clouds of cosmic dust, while others emit forms of energy that slip quietly past our detectors. This doesn't mean the universe is hiding from us. It simply means it exists on its own terms, following rules that don't always align with our senses or expectations. One of the most surprising realizations in modern science is that the matter we're familiar with makes up only a small portion of everything that exists. The stars, planets, gas clouds, and galaxies we can see represent just a small slice of the cosmic picture. The rest is made of things we cannot directly observe, substances that don't glow or reflect light in familiar ways. Even though we can't see them, their presence is felt through gentle effects, like the way galaxies move or how space itself seems to stretch. This unseen majority quietly shapes the universe, guiding its structure without ever demanding our attention. Light itself, which feels so immediate and reliable here on Earth, becomes a messenger from the distant past when we look into space. The glow from a faraway galaxy may have started its journey billions of years ago, long before Earth formed, long before life existed. By the time that light reaches us, the galaxy that sent it may have changed or drifted farther away. When we observe the universe, we're not seeing it as it is right now, but as it once was. This gentle delay adds another layer of mystery, reminding us that our view is always slightly out of step with reality. There are also vast regions of space that we will never be able to see, no matter how advanced our technology becomes. The universe is expanding, and some areas are moving away from us faster than light can travel toward us. Their signals will never reach Earth, not because they're hidden or forbidden, but because space itself keeps stretching between us. These unseen regions are still part of the same universe we inhabit. They exist quietly, beyond observation, complete in their own right. Knowing this can make our own place in the cosmos feel both smaller and more meaningful at the same time. Our tools for exploring the universe have grown more sensitive over time, but they remain gentle listeners rather than all-seeing observers. Telescopes don't capture reality directly, they interpret faint signals, turning them into images and data we can understand. There is always a layer of translation involved. What we see is shaped by our instruments, our assumptions, and the questions we choose to ask. The universe doesn't rush to explain itself. It offers hints, patterns, and quiet clues, allowing us to slowly piece together a story that is always incomplete and always open-ended. This incomplete view isn't a failure. It's part of what makes the universe such a peaceful subject to contemplate. There is no finish line, no final image that suddenly reveals everything. Each discovery simply opens the door to more questions, more unseen spaces, more gentle uncertainty. The universe invites curiosity without demanding conclusions. It allows us to wonder without pressure, to explore without the need to fully understand. There is comfort in accepting the limits of what we can see. In everyday life, we often feel the need to control outcomes, to gather all the information, to make sense of every detail. The universe gently reminds us that not everything needs to be known to be meaningful. Much of existence unfolds beyond our awareness, and yet it remains steady, balanced, and ongoing. This realization can soften the mind, making room for rest rather than effort. As technology improves, we continue to push the boundaries of what we can observe. New telescopes peer deeper into space, capturing light from earlier moments in cosmic history. Sensitive instruments listen for faint signals, tracing subtle movements and invisible influences. Each step forward reveals more detail, but it also reinforces how much remains unseen. The horizon of our knowledge expands, and with it, the quiet understanding that the universe will always be larger than our grasp. The idea that most of the universe exists beyond observation doesn't diminish our experience of it. Instead, it enriches it. It means that the night sky is not a complete picture, but a gentle suggestion of something far greater. What we see is enough to inspire wonder, even if it represents only a small fraction of what truly exists. The unseen majority continues its slow, silent work, shaping galaxies, guiding motion, and holding the universe together in ways we are only beginning to sense. When we think about this unseen universe, there's no need to feel overwhelmed. The vastness doesn't ask us to solve it or define it. It simply exists, patient and expansive, offering a quiet backdrop to our own small lives. We are part of this larger whole, even if we can't see most of it. Our atoms, our planet, and our thoughts are woven into the same fabric as the distant regions forever beyond our view. This understanding sets the tone for the journey ahead. As we explore the mysteries of the universe, it helps to remember that not seeing everything is part of the experience. The unknown is not a gap to be filled, but a space to rest within. Curiosity can remain gentle, unhurried, and open. The universe doesn't reveal itself all at once, and it never needs to. It unfolds slowly, offering glimpses rather than answers, inviting us to listen rather than chase. As the night continues and your thoughts begin to drift, you can let this idea settle in quietly. Most of the universe lies beyond sight, beyond measurement, beyond certainty. And yet, it remains calm, balanced, and beautifully indifferent to whether it is fully understood. This unseen vastness surrounds us, not as something to fear, but as something to rest within, allowing the mind to soften as it prepares to wander gently into the mysteries that lie ahead. As we continue drifting through the quiet vastness of space, it helps to imagine the universe not as a silent place, but as one that is constantly whispering. These whispers don't arrive as words or sounds we could ever hear with our ears. Instead, they travel as faint signals, subtle pulses of energy that cross enormous distances before gently brushing past our planet. Many of these signals are familiar to us, coming from stars, galaxies, and clouds of gas. But some arrive without a clear source or explanation, leaving us with a calm sense of curiosity rather than concern. For decades, scientists have been listening carefully to space, using sensitive instruments designed to notice even the faintest trace of activity. When these tools detect something unexpected, it doesn't usually appear dramatic or sudden. Often, it's a small, brief signal that stands out only because it doesn't match known patterns. These signals don't announce themselves loudly. They simply appear, quietly and briefly, like distant echoes whose origins are unclear. Their subtle nature reminds us that the universe doesn't communicate in obvious ways. It speaks softly, if at all. One of the most intriguing aspects of these mysterious signals is how rarely they repeat. Many are detected once and never again. This doesn't make them threatening or urgent. Instead, it adds to their gentle mystery. A signal might travel across billions of years, pass through galaxies and empty space, and reach Earth only once, never to be heard again. By the time we notice it, the place it came from may have changed completely. This sense of distance and time creates a peaceful reminder that the universe moves on scales far beyond our daily concerns. These signals also highlight how vast space truly is. Even when something sends out energy, there's no guarantee it will ever reach another place. Space is not only wide, but constantly stretching. Signals spread out, growing weaker as they travel, until many fade away into the background of the universe. When one does reach us, it's less like a message meant for us, and more like a natural byproduct of cosmic activity. The universe isn't trying to communicate, it's simply being itself. Another calming realization is that most cosmic signals are completely natural. They often come from events like stars spinning, galaxies colliding, or clouds of energy shifting slowly over time. These processes don't happen quickly or violently in the way movies sometimes suggest. They unfold over immense spans of time, guided by steady forces rather than sudden change. Even when a signal seems unusual, it usually fits within the quiet rhythm of the universe once we learn more about it. Some signals arrive with patterns that feel almost intentional, repeating in ways that catch attention. But repetition doesn't always mean purpose. In nature, repetition is common. Waves roll onto shore, planets orbit stars, and stars themselves pulse gently as they age. When we notice repeating signals from space, they often turn out to be the natural behavior of distant objects following consistent cycles. These steady patterns can feel comforting, showing that even in the vast unknown, there is order. Listening to space also teaches patience. Signals don't arrive on demand. Scientists may wait years, even decades, before detecting something new. This slow pace aligns beautifully with the idea of rest. The universe doesn't rush to reveal itself. It allows discoveries to come gradually, reminding us that there's no need to hurry. Curiosity can be quiet, and wonder doesn't have to be loud to be meaningful. The time it takes for signals to reach us adds another layer of calm reflection. When we detect something from deep space, we're not witnessing a current event. We're observing something that happened long ago. The signal has been traveling patiently, uninterrupted, through space for an unimaginable amount of time. This means that what we hear now is a glimpse into the distant past, arriving gently in the present. It's like listening to an echo that has been slowly crossing the universe. Distance plays a crucial role in shaping these messages. A signal that starts strong may arrive as a barely noticeable trace by the time it reaches Earth. This softening over distance removes any sense of urgency. What arrives is quiet, subtle, and easy to miss unless we're carefully listening. The universe doesn't shout across space. It murmurs, trusting that attentive listeners will notice in time. Another peaceful thought is that many signals likely pass us by unnoticed. Earth is just one small point in a vast cosmic ocean. Signals may cross nearby space without ever touching our instruments. Others may pass through Earth itself without leaving a trace we can detect. This doesn't mean we're missing something important. It simply means the universe is full of movement that doesn't revolve around us, continuing calmly whether we observe it or not. These unexplained signals often raise questions about communication. We naturally wonder whether they could be messages or signs of something intentional. But the universe doesn't require an audience. Most of what happens in space occurs without purpose or direction, guided instead by physical processes that don't seek attention. This realization can feel grounding. Not everything has meaning directed toward us, and that's part of what makes the universe feel so peaceful. Time itself becomes a quiet presence in these signals. A message that takes millions or billions of years to arrive is not bound by urgency. It carries no expectation of response. By the time it reaches us, the moment that created it is long gone. This one-way journey reinforces the idea that the universe is not engaged in conversation. It's simply unfolding moment by moment across vast stretches of time. There's also comfort in knowing that uncertainty doesn't equal danger. When a signal lacks explanation, it doesn't threaten us. It simply reminds us that our understanding is still growing. The unknown can exist without causing harm. In fact, it can invite gentle curiosity, encouraging us to explore slowly rather than react quickly. This mindset aligns naturally with rest, allowing questions to remain open without demanding answers. As we listen to these distant whispers, we can imagine them as part of a larger cosmic background, blending with countless other signals into a steady, ongoing hum. Most of this hum remains beyond our awareness, not because it's hidden, but because it's subtle. The universe doesn't overwhelm us with noise. It offers just enough to remind us that it's active, dynamic, and endlessly complex, while still remaining calm. The idea of communication across space often brings thoughts of intelligence or intention, but it doesn't have to. Communication can simply mean connection. Signals connect distant regions of the universe through time and space, linking events that occurred long ago with moments happening now. This quiet connection doesn't require interpretation or response. It exists on its own, weaving the universe together in ways that don't need explanation. As your thoughts continue to slow, it can be comforting to imagine these signals drifting through space much like thoughts drifting through the mind. They appear, linger briefly, and fade away, leaving no pressure to act. The universe sends out these gentle traces without expectation, and we receive them without obligation. This balance creates a peaceful rhythm, one that mirrors the natural process of winding down. The mystery of unexplained signals doesn't ask us to solve it tonight. It simply invites us to acknowledge how much remains unknown and how calm that unknown can be. Questions don't always need answers to be meaningful. Sometimes, they exist simply to remind us of the vastness around us and the small, quiet place we occupy within it. As these cosmic whispers continue their endless journeys through space, they carry with them the idea that the universe is always communicating, even if we don't fully understand the message. And that's all right. There is no rush to decode every signal, no need to grasp every meaning. The universe is patient, and so can we be, allowing these distant messages to drift gently through our awareness as the night carries on. As our thoughts continue drifting through the quiet mysteries of space, we arrive at an idea that feels almost invisible by design. There is something present throughout the universe that we cannot see, cannot touch, and cannot directly observe, yet its influence is everywhere. This unseen presence quietly shapes galaxies, guides their motion, and holds vast structures together without ever revealing itself to our eyes. It's known as dark matter, but the name itself is less important than the gentle realization it brings. Much of reality does not need to be visible to be real. When astronomers first began carefully observing how galaxies move, they noticed something unexpected. Stars at the outer edges of galaxies were moving faster than they should have been if only visible matter were present. According to everything we could see, those stars should have drifted away into space. But they didn't. They remained held in place, moving calmly along their paths as if guided by an unseen hand. This quiet observation suggested that something more was there, something invisible, steady, and widespread. This unseen material does not glow, reflect light, or cast shadows the way ordinary matter does. It doesn't form stars or planets, and it doesn't interact with light in ways we can easily detect. Instead, its presence is felt through gravity alone. It gently pulls on galaxies and clusters of galaxies, shaping their structure over billions of years. The universe relies on this quiet influence, much like a hidden framework that supports everything we see without drawing attention to itself. One of the most striking ideas about dark matter is how much of it there seems to be. The stars, planets, gas, and dust that make up everything familiar to us represent only a small portion of the universe's total content. The majority exists in forms we cannot directly observe. This doesn't make the universe feel emptier. Instead, it makes it feel fuller, layered with subtle depth. Reality becomes richer when we understand that what we see is only the surface. Dark matter doesn't move in chaotic ways. Over immense stretches of time, it forms vast, gentle structures that guide the formation of galaxies. Scientists often describe these structures as a kind of invisible web stretching across the universe. Galaxies tend to form along these unseen threads, gathering where dark matter is most concentrated. This quiet organization gives the universe a sense of order that doesn't rely on visibility. Everything has a place, even if we can't see the boundaries. Another calming thought is that dark matter has been present since the early universe. Long before stars began to shine or galaxies took shape, this unseen material was already there, slowly gathering and setting the stage. It didn't rush or force the process. It simply existed, allowing gravity to do its work over unimaginable spans of time. The universe's growth was not sudden or chaotic. It unfolded patiently, guided by forces that didn't need to announce themselves. Despite its importance, dark matter remains deeply mysterious. We don't know exactly what it's made of. Many ideas have been suggested, but none have been confirmed. This uncertainty doesn't weaken our understanding of the universe. Instead, it adds a layer of openness. Science doesn't always need immediate answers to move forward. Sometimes, acknowledging what we don't know is part of the journey. The universe allows space for mystery without requiring resolution. What makes dark matter especially peaceful to think about is its consistency. It doesn't change dramatically from moment to moment. Its influence is steady, reliable, and slow. While stars are born and die, and galaxies collide and reshape themselves, dark matter remains quietly present, guiding motion without interruption. It offers a sense of stability beneath the visible changes of the cosmos. There's also something comforting in realizing that dark matter doesn't interact strongly with ordinary matter. It passes through space without friction, without collisions, without disruption. It doesn't interfere with life on Earth or the movements of planets in any noticeable way. It exists alongside everything else, not intruding, simply shaping the larger picture from a distance. This quiet coexistence mirrors the idea that not everything needs to demand attention to be meaningful. The concept of an invisible structure holding the universe together can feel grounding. In daily life, we often rely on things we cannot see: forces, systems, routines that support us quietly. Gravity itself is invisible, yet we trust it completely. Dark matter extends this idea to a cosmic scale, reminding us that unseen support is not unusual. It is a natural part of how reality works. As researchers continue to study the universe, they look for subtle clues that reveal dark matter's presence. Tiny shifts in light, gentle bends in space, and patterns in cosmic motion all offer hints. These clues don't rush toward clear answers. They accumulate slowly, piece by piece, allowing understanding to grow at a calm pace. The universe doesn't reveal its deepest layers all at once. It invites patience. Another gentle realization is that dark matter doesn't exist in isolation. It works in harmony with visible matter, shaping galaxies while allowing stars and planets to form naturally. This balance creates the universe we observe today, a place of structure, beauty, and consistency. Without this unseen framework, galaxies might never have formed at all. The night sky, as we know it, depends on something we cannot see. Thinking about dark matter can also shift how we think about reality itself. It suggests that what we experience directly is not the full story. There are layers beneath perception, quietly influencing outcomes without being noticed. This idea doesn't need to be unsettling. It can be reassuring. It means the universe has depth beyond appearances, offering more stability than chaos. Even though dark matter remains unexplained, its effects are predictable. Galaxies behave in ways that make sense once its presence is considered. This reliability adds to the feeling of calm. The universe is not random or erratic. It follows patterns even when we don't fully understand their origins. Mystery and order coexist comfortably. As your thoughts slow and your breathing settles, it can be soothing to imagine this invisible structure surrounding everything. An unseen presence, steady and patient, holding galaxies together without effort or sound. It doesn't demand recognition or understanding. It simply exists, doing what it has always done, shaping the universe quietly from behind the scenes. This idea gently reinforces a broader truth. Not everything important needs to be seen. Much of reality operates in the background, unnoticed yet essential. The universe itself is supported by layers we may never fully uncover, and that's all right. There is peace in knowing that existence doesn't rely on constant observation or explanation. Dark matter reminds us that mystery doesn't weaken reality. It enriches it. The unseen can be just as real, just as influential, and just as stable as anything we can touch or observe. As we continue this journey through the universe's quiet unknowns, this understanding allows the mind to relax, letting go of the need to see everything clearly and resting instead in the calm certainty that the universe is held together by forces both visible and invisible, working in gentle harmony far beyond our awareness. As we continue drifting through the quiet layers of the universe, our attention gently shifts to something even more subtle than dark matter. There is a force at work that doesn't pull things together, but slowly, patiently moves everything apart. It doesn't rush, it doesn't shake the universe, and it doesn't announce itself in dramatic ways. Instead, it works silently across immense distances, stretching space itself little by little. This quiet influence is known as dark energy, and its calm, steady presence shapes the long-term future of everything that exists. For much of human history, it was assumed that the universe's expansion, which began long ago, might eventually slow down. After all, gravity pulls matter together, and over enough time, it seemed reasonable to think that this pull would gradually overcome the outward motion. But careful observations revealed something unexpected. Instead of slowing, the expansion of the universe is gently speeding up. Not suddenly or violently, but gradually over billions of years. This discovery didn't arrive with alarm. It arrived as a soft surprise, inviting a deeper sense of wonder rather than concern. Dark energy doesn't behave like anything we encounter in daily life. It doesn't gather into objects, and it doesn't flow like a substance we can point to. Rather than existing in specific places, it appears to be woven into space itself. As space stretches, dark energy stretches with it, quietly encouraging further expansion. This makes it feel less like a force acting within the universe and more like a property of the universe as a whole. Everything moves gently outward, not because something is pushing hard, but because space itself is calmly growing. One of the most soothing aspects of this idea is the time scale on which it operates. The expansion driven by dark energy unfolds over billions and billions of years. On human timescales, it is completely unnoticeable. Galaxies don't suddenly fly apart, and stars don't drift away in any visible way. From our perspective, the universe feels steady and unchanged. Dark energy works so slowly that it never disrupts the rhythms of daily life, or even the lifespans of stars and galaxies. It reminds us that not all change needs to be felt to be real. Another gentle realization is that dark energy affects the largest structures in the universe, not the small ones. It doesn't pull planets away from their stars or disturb galaxies from within. Local gravity remains strong enough to keep familiar systems intact. Dark energy only becomes noticeable when we look across vast distances, between clusters of galaxies and beyond. This separation between scales creates a sense of balance. The universe allows stability close to home, while still evolving quietly on the grandest levels. The discovery of dark energy also changed how we think about the universe's future. Instead of collapsing back in on itself or settling into a static state, the universe appears to be heading toward continued expansion. Galaxies will slowly drift farther apart, light will take longer to travel between them, and distant regions will gradually fade from view. This future is not dramatic or destructive. It is gentle, gradual, and calm. The universe is not rushing toward an ending. It is simply continuing its slow unfolding. Dark energy also teaches us something important about humility. Even with advanced technology and careful observation, there are aspects of reality that remain beyond clear explanation. We can measure the effects of dark energy, but we don't fully understand what it is or why it exists. This uncertainty doesn't weaken science. Instead, it highlights the openness of discovery. Knowledge doesn't need to be complete to be meaningful. The universe allows us to understand some things while leaving others softly out of reach. There is comfort in realizing that the universe doesn't resist expansion or cling tightly to its past. It allows space to grow, distances to widen, and structures to slowly change. This quiet acceptance mirrors natural rhythms we see elsewhere, where growth and change happen gradually rather than abruptly. The universe doesn't fight its own evolution. It flows with it, guided by forces that don't need forceful expression. Dark energy also connects deeply with the concept of time. As space expands, the universe ages, moving steadily forward without pause. This movement isn't marked by ticking clocks or sharp transitions. It's smooth and continuous, stretching across cosmic history. Thinking about time on this scale can be strangely calming. It places our own moments into a broader context, where urgency fades and perspective grows. The expansion of space itself can be imagined as a gentle breathing of the universe. Not in and out, but outward, slowly and endlessly. Galaxies ride along this expansion, not because they're being pushed, but because the space between them is growing. This image replaces the idea of a universe filled with motion and collision with one of quiet separation and openness. There is room for everything, and more room is continually being made. Even though dark energy dominates the universe on large scales, it doesn't overwhelm the story of cosmic structure. Stars still form, galaxies still shine, and planets continue their steady orbits. The universe remains a place of light, motion, and connection. Dark energy doesn't erase these features. It simply provides a backdrop of slow expansion against which they exist. Change and stability coexist without conflict. Another peaceful thought is that dark energy doesn't require interaction or response. It doesn't demand that matter behave differently in everyday situations. It doesn't interfere with the processes that allow life to exist. It remains distant, affecting only the grandest patterns of the universe. This separation allows us to experience a stable, predictable world while the cosmos gently evolves beyond our immediate awareness. As scientists study dark energy, they do so with patience. There are no quick experiments that reveal its nature. Instead, understanding grows through careful observation over long periods of time. Patterns emerge slowly, and theories develop gradually. This approach reflects the same calm rhythm seen in the universe itself. Discovery doesn't need urgency. It unfolds in step with the phenomena it seeks to understand. Dark energy also challenges the idea that the universe must behave in ways that feel intuitive to us. Our instincts are shaped by life on Earth, where forces are visible and changes are noticeable. On cosmic scales, reality follows different rules, operating quietly across vast distances and times. Accepting this difference can be freeing. It allows us to release the need for everything to fit neatly into familiar patterns. When we think about the slow expansion of everything, it can inspire a sense of spaciousness in the mind. The universe isn't crowded or constrained. It's open, growing, and patient. There is no pressure to fill every gap or explain every detail. Space itself is generous, offering room for mystery, discovery, and rest. This idea also brings a subtle reassurance about the long-term stability of existence. Even as the universe changes, it does so gently. There are no sudden shifts or sharp endings implied by dark energy's influence. The future stretches out calmly, much like the present moment when we allow ourselves to slow down and breathe. As your thoughts continue to drift, the image of a slowly expanding universe can settle into your awareness like a steady, quiet motion. Everything moving outward, not in chaos, but in balance. Space growing, time flowing, and the universe continuing its journey without hurry. Dark energy doesn't rush the cosmos toward an ending. It simply allows it to keep going, unfolding one calm moment after another across unimaginable spans of time. As we drift deeper into the quiet rhythm of the universe, our attention turns towards something we experience every day, yet rarely pause to question. Time feels steady and familiar here on Earth. It moves forward at a pace we've learned to trust, marked by days and nights, seasons, and years. But beyond our planet, time does not behave in quite the same way. Across the universe, time stretches, bends, and flows differently depending on where you are and how you're moving. This realization doesn't need to feel confusing. Instead, it can be deeply calming, reminding us that time itself is more flexible and gentle than we often assume. In the vastness of space, time is closely connected to motion. When objects move slowly and remain close to familiar conditions, time passes much like it does for us. But when things move faster or exist in stronger gravitational environments, time begins to change its pace. This doesn't mean it stops or becomes chaotic. It simply flows differently, like a river that widens or narrows depending on the landscape it passes through. The universe allows time to adapt naturally to its surroundings, without ever breaking its quiet consistency. One of the most peaceful ideas to consider is that time passes more slowly in places where gravity is stronger. Near massive objects like stars or dense regions of space, time gently slows compared to regions where gravity is weaker. This difference is not dramatic or noticeable moment to moment. It unfolds so gradually that it feels seamless. The universe doesn't create sharp boundaries between one flow of time and another. Instead, time transitions smoothly, adjusting itself without disruption. Motion also plays a role in shaping time. Objects traveling at very high speeds experience time differently than those at rest. For something moving rapidly through space, time passes just a bit more slowly compared to something moving more gently. This effect doesn't create confusion or disorder. It simply means that time is not a rigid rule imposed on the universe. It's a flexible feature, responding calmly to motion and energy wherever they exist. These ideas might sound distant from everyday life, but they offer a soothing perspective. They tell us that time is not something pressing down on us or racing ahead without control. It's something that flows naturally, adapting to the universe's quiet conditions. Even though we feel time passing in regular ways here on Earth, it's comforting to know that the universe allows for variation, patience, and balance on larger scales. Another gentle realization is that time has a deep connection to the universe's history. When we look into space, we're also looking back in time. Light takes time to travel, so distant galaxies appear as they were long ago. Some of the light reaching us tonight began its journey before our planet even existed. This means that the universe offers us a layered view of time, where the past quietly overlaps with the present. There's no rush in this process. Time arrives when it arrives, carrying moments across vast distances without urgency. This layered nature of time invites a softer way of thinking about beginnings and endings. In everyday life, we often imagine time as a straight line with clear starts and finishes. In the universe, time feels more like a continuous flow, where beginnings blend into what comes next. Stars form, shine, and eventually fade, but their material becomes part of new stars and worlds. Endings are not abrupt conclusions. They are gentle transitions into something new. The universe also shows us that time doesn't need to be evenly experienced everywhere to remain meaningful. Different regions can experience time at different rates, yet the universe remains coherent and connected. This harmony suggests that time is not a fragile system that breaks when conditions change. It's resilient, adaptable, and steady, capable of holding together a universe filled with variety. Another comforting thought is that time moves slowly on cosmic scales. Changes that seem significant to us happen over millions or billions of years in the universe. Galaxies drift, stars evolve, and space itself expands at a pace that feels almost still when compared to a human lifetime. This slow rhythm can ease the mind, placing our own worries into a broader context where urgency fades and patience becomes natural. Time in the universe also doesn't demand constant attention. It moves forward whether we measure it or not. Long before clocks existed, time flowed steadily, guiding the formation of stars and galaxies. Even now, beyond the reach of observation, time continues its gentle progression. It doesn't require schedules or reminders. It simply exists, quietly reliable. There is also peace in knowing that time does not treat every moment as equally important. Some moments stretch across billions of years, while others pass quickly and leave subtle traces. The universe doesn't prioritize one over the other. Each moment fits naturally into the larger flow. This idea can soften our relationship with time, allowing us to release the pressure to make every moment count in the same way. The way time behaves across the cosmos also challenges the idea that there is a single, universal now. What feels like the present here on Earth may be the distant past or far future from another vantage point. This doesn't fracture reality. Instead, it weaves it together into a tapestry of overlapping moments. The universe holds all of these moments without conflict, allowing them to coexist calmly. As we think about time on these scales, the concept of waiting takes on a different meaning. The universe waits naturally. It allows processes to unfold at their own pace. Nothing is forced. Nothing is rushed. This patience is built into the structure of reality itself. Stars don't hurry to burn brighter, and galaxies don't rush to form. They take the time they need, guided by steady forces rather than deadlines. The idea that time can behave differently also invites us to be gentler with ourselves. If time itself is flexible, perhaps our expectations of how quickly things should happen can soften too. The universe doesn't demand speed. It values balance, continuity, and gradual change. This perspective aligns beautifully with rest, encouraging us to let go of the need to constantly move forward at full pace. Another soothing realization is that time is deeply connected to space. They are not separate entities moving independently. Instead, they form a single fabric, gently shaping one another. When space stretches or curves, time adjusts along with it. This quiet partnership ensures that the universe remains stable even as it evolves. Nothing feels abrupt or broken. Everything flows together. As we reflect on how time behaves differently across the cosmos, the idea of an absolute beginning or ending becomes less rigid. The universe appears less like a story with a sharp opening and closing, and more like a continuous process. Moments blend into one another, creating a sense of ongoing presence rather than finality. This can be deeply reassuring, especially as the day comes to a close. Time also doesn't insist on being experienced consciously. Much of it passes unnoticed, and that's perfectly natural. The universe doesn't require awareness to move forward. It allows existence to unfold whether we're paying attention or resting. This idea mirrors the process of sleep, where time continues gently without our active involvement. As your thoughts continue to slow, you can imagine time not as something counting down, but as something stretching out calmly in all directions. The universe experiences time as a wide, open flow, not a narrow path. There is room for pause, for drift, and for quiet moments that don't need to lead anywhere in particular. This broader view of time prepares the mind to consider deeper questions about beginnings and endings without tension. The universe does not rush toward conclusions. It moves steadily, allowing each phase to exist fully before transitioning into the next. Time supports this process without judgment or pressure. In this gentle understanding, time becomes less of a force pushing us forward and more of a space we move within. It holds moments softly, allowing them to arrive and pass without urgency. The universe doesn't demand that we keep up with time. It invites us to move with it, slowly and naturally, as the quiet journey through its mysteries continues. As our thoughts continue drifting outward, away from familiar stars and distant galaxies, we begin to approach a gentle boundary. It isn't a wall or an edge you could ever bump into. It doesn't glow or announce itself. Instead, it's a quiet limit shaped by light, time, and distance. This is the edge of the observable universe, the farthest reaches of space we can see from Earth. Beyond it lies a vast region that exists just as fully as everything we know, even though its light has never had the chance to reach us. The observable universe is defined not by how far space extends, but by how far light has been able to travel since the universe began. Light moves at a steady speed, and while that speed is incredibly fast, the universe is vast beyond easy comprehension. Because the universe has a finite age, there are limits to how much of it we can observe. This means that when we look out into space, we're not seeing the whole universe. We're seeing a portion shaped by time itself. Everything beyond that horizon remains unseen, not because it doesn't exist, but because its light is still on its way or may never arrive at all. This idea can feel surprisingly peaceful. The universe does not require us to witness it in order to exist. Regions far beyond our view are unfolding quietly, following the same gentle rules as the parts we can see. Stars may be forming, galaxies may be drifting, and space itself may be expanding in places forever out of reach. There is something comforting in knowing that reality is not centered on observation. The universe continues calmly, whether or not it's being watched. One of the most soothing realizations is that the observable universe is not static. As time passes, the boundary shifts. Light from more distant regions gradually reaches us, slowly expanding what we can see. At the same time, space itself is stretching, causing some regions to move away so quickly that their light will never reach us. These two processes happen together, quietly shaping what remains visible and what slips beyond observation. There is no drama in this process. It unfolds steadily, guided by the same calm expansion that has shaped the universe for billions of years. Beyond the observable universe, there is no sudden change in the nature of reality. Space doesn't stop. Time doesn't end. The laws that govern galaxies and stars here are believed to continue outward, unchanged. The unseen regions are not mysterious in a threatening way. They are simply distant. This distance does not imply chaos or danger. It implies continuity, more of the same gentle cosmic processes occurring far beyond our reach. Another comforting thought is that the universe may be far larger than the portion we can observe. The observable universe is like a small window into something much grander. Everything we have ever seen, every galaxy, every star, every cosmic structure, exists within this limited view. Yet there is no strong reason to believe the universe stops there. Most evidence suggests that space continues far beyond, possibly infinitely. This vastness doesn't demand understanding. It simply invites humility and wonder. The idea of an unobservable region also reminds us of how deeply time and space are connected. The farther we look, the further back in time we see. Eventually, we reach a point where the universe was so young that light couldn't yet travel freely. Beyond that, visibility fades not because nothing exists, but because the universe itself was still settling into a state where light could move openly. Even this early period doesn't mark a true beginning of existence. It marks a limit to what we can currently observe. This boundary of observation doesn't feel restrictive when viewed calmly. Instead, it offers perspective. It reminds us that knowledge has natural limits, and those limits don't diminish reality. The universe doesn't need to be fully known to be complete. There is beauty in partial understanding, in glimpses rather than full pictures. The unseen invites curiosity without pressure, allowing us to rest within mystery rather than chase certainty. Another gentle fact is that regions beyond the observable universe are not empty or inactive. They are likely filled with galaxies, cosmic structures, and patterns similar to those we can see. The same slow dances of gravity, expansion, and time are likely unfolding there as well. These distant regions are not frozen or waiting. They are alive with motion, yet entirely independent of our awareness. This independence can feel grounding. It reminds us that existence does not revolve around us. The expansion of the universe plays a key role in shaping what remains observable. As space stretches, distant regions move farther away. For some areas, this expansion happens so quickly that light emitted today will never reach us. These regions quietly pass beyond our observational horizon, not because they vanish, but because space itself grows between us. This process is gradual and steady. Nothing disappears suddenly. Visibility fades gently over time. This fading is not a loss in the emotional sense. It's a reminder that the universe operates on scales that don't align with human perception. The cosmos doesn't hold onto everything forever within view. It allows distance to grow naturally, without resistance. This acceptance of change can feel soothing, especially when we reflect on how much of daily life involves holding on tightly. The universe teaches a different lesson, one of gentle release. There is also something calming in knowing that no signal, message, or influence from beyond the observable universe can affect us directly. Those distant regions are too far away, separated by expanding space. Their existence does not pose a threat or demand attention. They simply exist, peacefully, beyond reach. This separation creates a sense of quiet safety, where our corner of the universe remains stable and undisturbed by what lies beyond. The concept of regions we can never see also reshapes how we think about exploration. Not everything is meant to be reached or mapped. Some aspects of reality exist beyond access, not as challenges to overcome, but as reminders of scale. The universe does not measure its worth by how much we can observe. It allows vast portions of itself to remain untouched by inquiry, existing fully without validation. As technology improves, we may extend our observational reach, but limits will always remain. No matter how advanced our tools become, there will always be regions beyond our horizon. This isn't a failure of science. It's a feature of a universe shaped by time, distance, and expansion. Knowledge grows, but it never consumes everything. There is always room for mystery. This ongoing balance between what is known and unknown mirrors the experience of rest. When we allow ourselves to relax, we don't try to control every thought or outcome. We accept that some things will remain unresolved, and that's fine. The universe operates in much the same way, holding vast unanswered spaces without tension. Another peaceful aspect of the unobservable universe is that it doesn't create urgency. There is no countdown, no looming deadline to discover everything. Regions beyond observation will remain beyond observation, regardless of our efforts. This takes pressure off the mind. The universe does not ask us to rush or strive endlessly. It invites patience and acceptance. The idea that the universe may be far larger than we can ever confirm also expands our sense of perspective. Our problems, concerns, and even achievements exist within a small portion of an immense reality. This doesn't make them meaningless. It places them gently into context, allowing worries to feel lighter and more manageable. As your thoughts drift farther outward, it can be soothing to imagine this vast unseen expanse continuing quietly in all directions. No boundaries, no edges, just space unfolding beyond reach. The universe doesn't close itself off. It simply extends farther than we can follow, offering a sense of openness that can feel deeply calming. This openness also invites a softer relationship with curiosity. We can wonder without needing answers. We can explore ideas without expecting conclusions. The universe supports this gentle curiosity, offering hints and glimpses while allowing much to remain out of view. The unseen regions of the universe are not empty gaps in understanding. They are full spaces, rich with existence, even if they remain beyond confirmation. Accepting this can feel like letting go of the need to grasp everything tightly. The universe does not withhold itself. It simply exists on scales that invite humility. As the night continues and your awareness softens, the idea of a universe far larger than observation can settle into the background of your thoughts. It doesn't need to be examined closely. It can simply be felt, a sense of vastness, continuity, and calm that stretches beyond sight and measurement. The observable universe, with all its beauty and mystery, is only a small part of something much greater. Beyond it lies more space, more time, and more quiet unfolding than we can ever fully know. This realization doesn't close doors. It opens them gently, allowing the mind to rest within a universe that is endlessly expansive, patiently unfolding, and perfectly content to remain partly unseen. Imagine a place in the universe where motion slows, light grows quiet, and the usual rules we rely on gently fade away. Not a place of danger or destruction, but one of stillness and deep gravity. This is how we can think about black holes, not as dramatic cosmic monsters, but as calm, powerful regions of space where the universe behaves a little differently. Tonight, there's no need to feel alarmed or tense as we explore them. Instead, we can approach black holes the same way we approach the night sky itself, with curiosity, patience, and a sense of calm wonder. Black holes form when massive stars reach the end of their long lives. After shining steadily for millions or even billions of years, these stars eventually run out of fuel. Without that fuel, they can no longer hold themselves up against their own gravity. Slowly and inevitably, they collapse inward. This process doesn't happen suddenly from our perspective. It unfolds over time, guided by gravity alone. What remains is not an object in the usual sense, but a region of space where gravity becomes especially strong. The star doesn't disappear. Its mass is still there, gathered quietly into a smaller space. One of the most misunderstood aspects of black holes is the idea that they constantly pull everything toward them. In reality, a black hole behaves much like any other object with mass. If our sun were replaced by a black hole of the same mass, Earth would continue orbiting in the same calm path as it does now. The black hole wouldn't reach out or disturb nearby space unless something came very close. This realization removes much of the fear often associated with them. Black holes are not cosmic vacuums. They are stable, predictable features of the universe. At the heart of a black hole lies a boundary often described as the point of no return. This boundary isn't a solid surface or a visible edge. It's simply a region where gravity becomes strong enough that light itself cannot escape. Once something crosses this boundary, it doesn't vanish in a dramatic way. From the outside, it appears to slow down, becoming dimmer and quieter as it approaches. Time seems to stretch, making the moment of crossing feel endless. This gentle slowing reminds us that black holes don't involve sudden destruction. They involve gradual change. Inside this boundary, the familiar rules of space and time no longer apply in ways we fully understand. This doesn't mean chaos. It means that our current understanding reaches its limits. The universe continues to behave consistently, even if we can't yet describe it clearly. This idea can be soothing. It tells us that mystery does not imply disorder. It simply reflects the boundaries of knowledge. Another calming thought is that black holes are surprisingly common. Most large galaxies, including our own, contain one at their center. These central black holes don't disrupt the calm movement of stars around them. Instead, they help organize the galaxy's structure. Stars orbit peacefully, guided by gravity in steady patterns. The presence of a black hole does not turn a galaxy into a dangerous place. It becomes part of the galaxy's natural balance. Black holes also grow slowly. They don't suddenly appear at enormous sizes. Over long periods of time, they may gather material that drifts close enough to be drawn in. This process is gradual and gentle on cosmic timescales. Even the largest black holes grew over billions of years, shaped by patience rather than force. The universe does not rush their formation. It allows them to develop naturally. When material approaches a black hole, it doesn't immediately disappear. It often forms a slow-moving disk around the black hole, heating up and glowing softly as it spirals inward. This glow is one of the few ways we can detect black holes at all. We don't see the black hole itself, but we notice the calm, steady light produced by material moving near it. Even this process is not violent in the way it's often portrayed. It follows predictable patterns governed by gravity and motion. Another gentle truth is that black holes do not last forever in the same way. Over extremely long periods of time, far longer than the current age of the universe, they are expected to slowly lose energy. This happens so gradually that it has no impact on galaxies or stars nearby. It's another reminder that nothing in the universe exists outside of time. Even the most powerful structures change slowly and peacefully. Thinking about what happens inside a black hole can feel abstract, but it doesn't need to feel frightening. Inside, space and time are thought to behave in unfamiliar ways, stretching and curving beyond our usual experience. This doesn't imply chaos or destruction. It suggests a continuation of the universe's calm complexity, operating beyond the limits of what we currently understand. The universe doesn't become hostile at these boundaries. It simply becomes deeper. Black holes also help us understand gravity itself. By studying how space behaves around them, scientists gain insight into how gravity shapes the universe on all scales. These insights don't arrive suddenly. They emerge slowly through careful observation and quiet reflection. The universe reveals its deeper layers at a pace that matches its own calm rhythm. There's also comfort in knowing that black holes are incredibly distant. The nearest known ones are far beyond our solar system, separated from us by vast stretches of space. Their influence does not reach into our daily lives. Earth remains safely guided by the Sun, following its steady orbit without interruption. Black holes exist as part of the broader cosmic landscape, not as looming threats. Black holes challenge our ideas about beginnings and endings. Matter that enters a black hole doesn't vanish from existence. It becomes part of a process we don't yet fully understand. This idea gently blurs the line between endings and transformations. The universe rarely eliminates anything completely. It reshapes, redistributes, and continues. As we reflect on black holes, it's helpful to let go of dramatic imagery and focus instead on their quiet role in the cosmos. They are not anomalies or disruptions. They are natural outcomes of stellar evolution, fitting smoothly into the universe's long-term patterns. Their presence adds depth to the universe without disturbing its overall calm. Black holes also remind us that it's okay for some questions to remain unanswered. We don't need to know exactly what happens inside them to appreciate their place in the universe. Curiosity does not require resolution. Sometimes, it's enough to acknowledge that there are regions of reality that invite patience rather than explanation. This acceptance aligns beautifully with rest. Just as the universe allows mystery without tension, we can allow our minds to relax without needing clarity. Black holes stand as symbols of this idea, places where certainty fades, but stability remains. As your thoughts continue to slow, you can imagine black holes not as dark voids, but as calm centers of gravity, quietly holding space together. They don't rush or disrupt. They simply exist, woven into the universe's structure, guiding motion and time in ways that feel steady and inevitable. From these gentle giants, our understanding of space expands outward into even broader mysteries. Gravity, time, and space all meet here, reminding us that the universe operates with layers of depth we don't need to unravel tonight. It's enough to drift alongside these ideas, letting them pass through your awareness like distant stars, softening the mind as the quiet journey through the universe continues. Imagine drifting through space for millions of years and finding yourself surrounded not by stars, not by glowing galaxies, but by something quieter than anything you've ever known. A place where light is sparse, motion is gentle, and distance feels almost endless. This is not emptiness in a frightening sense. It's stillness on a cosmic scale. These regions are known as cosmic voids, and they make up some of the calmest, most spacious parts of the universe. Tonight, they invite us to slow our thoughts even further and rest within the idea that silence itself plays an important role in how everything exists. When we picture the universe, we often imagine it crowded with stars and galaxies, packed tightly together in brilliant displays of light. But most of space is not like that. The majority of the universe is made up of vast regions where very little exists at all. Cosmic voids are enormous stretches of space containing few galaxies, few stars, and very little matter. They are not small gaps. Some are hundreds of millions of light years across. These quiet regions form naturally as matter gathers into clusters elsewhere, leaving behind large open spaces. One of the most peaceful facts about cosmic voids is how slowly they change. Compared to busy galaxy clusters, voids evolve at a gentle pace. There are fewer interactions, fewer collisions, and far less activity. Over billions of years, these regions remain mostly calm and open. This slow rhythm contributes to the overall balance of the universe, allowing both crowded and quiet regions to coexist without conflict. Cosmic voids are not signs that something went wrong during the universe's formation. Instead, they are a natural result of how matter spreads and gathers over time. In the early universe, tiny differences in density slowly grew under the influence of gravity. Regions with slightly more matter pulled in even more, forming galaxies and clusters. Regions with less matter became voids. This process unfolded gradually, without sudden shifts or disruptions. The universe organized itself patiently, creating patterns of light and space that include both fullness and emptiness. Even though voids contain very little matter, they are not truly empty. Faint traces of gas, small particles, and subtle energy still exist within them. Light can pass through freely, traveling uninterrupted for vast distances. This openness makes voids some of the clearest pathways for light moving across the universe. In a way, these quiet regions act as gentle corridors between brighter structures, allowing signals to drift calmly from one place to another. Another calming aspect of cosmic voids is how they emphasize scale. When galaxies are separated by such enormous distances, it becomes easier to appreciate how vast the universe truly is. A single galaxy may contain billions of stars, yet still be just a small island of light surrounded by immense darkness. This contrast doesn't diminish the importance of galaxies. Instead, it highlights the spaciousness that allows them to exist without crowding or chaos. Cosmic voids also help scientists understand how the universe expands. Because these regions contain less matter, they tend to expand slightly faster than denser areas. This expansion is gentle and steady, contributing quietly to the universe's overall growth. Voids don't push or pull aggressively. They simply offer less resistance, allowing space to stretch more freely. This subtle behavior adds another layer to the universe's calm, long-term evolution. The existence of vast empty regions also changes how we think about stillness. In everyday life, stillness is often associated with inactivity or absence. In the universe, stillness is an active and essential part of structure. Without voids, galaxies would be crowded together, constantly interacting and colliding. The quiet between galaxies provides room for stability, letting stars shine and planetary systems remain undisturbed for long periods of time. There is also a gentle beauty in imagining how cosmic voids look from within. If you were located inside one, the sky would appear darker than anywhere else in the universe. Galaxies would be faint and distant, scattered thinly across the darkness. The sense of isolation would be immense, yet not lonely. It would feel like floating inside an open ocean of space where nothing presses in from any direction. Another soothing thought is that cosmic voids have existed for most of the universe's history. They are not temporary features that appear and disappear quickly. Once formed, they remain part of the universe's structure for billions of years. This persistence adds to their sense of calm. They are stable, long-lasting regions that change slowly and predictably. Cosmic voids also remind us that presence does not always require density. Even in areas with very little matter, space itself continues to exist, stretch, and carry time forward. Reality doesn't thin out just because objects are far apart. The universe remains complete everywhere, whether filled with galaxies or left mostly open. These quiet regions play a subtle role in shaping the movement of galaxies. Over long periods, galaxies drift along the boundaries of voids, guided gently by gravity. This slow movement contributes to the large-scale patterns we observe today, where matter forms vast webs and filaments surrounding empty spaces. The universe organizes itself not by filling every area, but by balancing concentration and openness. There is comfort in recognizing that emptiness is not something to be avoided in the universe. It is embraced as part of the overall design. Just as music relies on silence between notes, the universe relies on voids between galaxies. These pauses allow structure, rhythm, and balance to emerge naturally. The quiet between galaxies also invites reflection on stillness in our own lives. We often associate value with activity and motion, but the universe shows us that rest and openness are equally important. Without stillness, nothing would have space to exist or grow. Cosmic voids embody this idea on the largest possible scale. Another peaceful aspect of voids is how little they demand attention. They don't shine brightly or announce their presence. They exist quietly, forming the background against which everything else unfolds. This unobtrusive nature makes them easy to overlook, yet essential to the universe's overall harmony. As light travels across the universe, it often passes through voids for millions of years without interruption. This uninterrupted journey allows information to move calmly from one region to another. The voids do not distort or disrupt. They simply allow passage, offering a sense of continuity across immense distances. Cosmic voids also help scientists test ideas about how the universe behaves on large scales. Because these regions are simpler, with fewer objects interacting, they offer clear environments for observation. Even here, understanding grows slowly and patiently. The universe does not reveal its secrets quickly, and voids reflect that quiet pace. Thinking about these vast empty spaces can make personal concerns feel lighter. When we place ourselves within a universe that includes regions of such profound stillness, the pressure to constantly fill time or space begins to ease. The universe doesn't rush to occupy every corner. It allows openness to exist without judgment. As your breathing becomes slower and your thoughts begin to drift, you might imagine yourself floating gently within one of these cosmic voids. No noise, no urgency, just space extending in all directions. The darkness isn't threatening. It's calm, protective, and endlessly spacious. This image can serve as a reminder that rest is not the absence of meaning. It is a necessary part of balance. The universe itself depends on vast stretches of quiet to maintain its structure. Without them, everything would be crowded and unstable. Cosmic voids also show us that beauty doesn't always come from complexity. Sometimes, beauty emerges from simplicity and openness. A dark sky with only a few distant points of light can feel just as powerful as a sky filled with stars. The universe values both. These regions invite us to rethink our relationship with emptiness. Rather than something to fear or avoid, emptiness can be a space for calm awareness. It can hold potential, stability, and quiet strength. The universe demonstrates this truth on the largest possible scale. As the night continues and your mind settles further, the idea of vast, quiet spaces between galaxies can become a comforting backdrop. The universe is not crowded or chaotic. It is spacious, balanced, and patient, with room for stillness woven into its very structure. The quiet between galaxies is not a gap in existence. It is an essential part of it. These cosmic voids hold the universe together by allowing it room to breathe, stretch, and remain calm across unimaginable distances, offering a gentle reminder that silence and space are not empty at all, but full of quiet purpose. As we continue drifting through the quiet expanse of the universe, a gentle question naturally begins to surface. It's a question humans have carried for as long as we've looked up at the night sky. Are we alone? Or does life exist elsewhere, quietly unfolding far beyond our world? This question doesn't need urgency or answers tonight. It can simply rest in the background of our thoughts, open and calm, inviting curiosity without expectation. Life on Earth feels familiar because it's all we've ever known. We see it everywhere here, from the deepest oceans to the highest mountains. This abundance can make it easy to forget how unusual Earth truly is. Our planet has liquid water, a stable climate, and a protective atmosphere, all working together over billions of years. These conditions allowed life to appear slowly, adapt patiently, and grow into the vast diversity we see today. When we look beyond Earth, we begin to wonder whether similar conditions might exist elsewhere, quietly supporting life in forms we may never fully recognize. One of the most comforting ideas about life beyond Earth is that the universe is filled with countless stars. Our own galaxy alone contains hundreds of billions of them. Many of these stars have planets orbiting around them, just as our Sun does. Some of these planets exist at distances where temperatures could allow liquid water to exist. This doesn't mean life is guaranteed. It simply means that the universe offers many opportunities for life-friendly conditions to arise naturally over time. Another gentle realization is that life doesn't necessarily need to look like life on Earth. Here, life depends on familiar ingredients like water, carbon, and energy from sunlight. Elsewhere, life could follow different paths, shaped by environments unlike anything we've experienced. It might move more slowly, exist more quietly, or take forms that blend seamlessly into their surroundings. This possibility expands our understanding of life itself, allowing it to be flexible rather than fixed. The search for life beyond Earth doesn't focus on finding creatures or civilizations. Instead, it often begins by looking for subtle signs that environments could support life. Scientists study the atmospheres of distant planets, looking for gentle chemical hints that suggest ongoing processes. These hints don't shout their meaning. They appear softly, requiring patience and careful observation. The universe doesn't rush to reveal whether life exists elsewhere. It offers clues slowly, allowing curiosity to grow at a calm pace. There's also peace in knowing that life, if it exists elsewhere, does not need to interact with us to be meaningful. It may exist quietly on distant worlds, entirely unaware of Earth and unaffected by our presence. This idea removes any sense of pressure or expectation. Life doesn't have to announce itself or reach out across space. It can exist simply for itself, unfolding gently under its own conditions. Another soothing thought is that life on Earth appeared relatively early in our planet's history. Once conditions became stable, simple life forms emerged and persisted through immense changes. This resilience suggests that life, when given the opportunity, can adapt and endure patiently. If similar opportunities exist elsewhere, life may arise and persist quietly without drama or rapid change. The universe itself is very old. It has had plenty of time for life to begin, evolve, and perhaps even fade away on countless worlds. Some life may have existed long ago and no longer remains. Other life may be just beginning now. This broad timeline means that life beyond Earth doesn't have to be happening at the same moment as ours to be real. Existence stretches across time as well as space, allowing life to appear and disappear without urgency. The search for life beyond Earth also invites humility. Even here on our own planet, life thrives in places once thought impossible. Deep beneath the ocean floor, inside rocks, and in extreme environments, life persists quietly. These discoveries remind us that life does not always require gentle or familiar conditions. It can exist in subtle ways, hidden from easy observation. This understanding makes the universe feel more welcoming, not less. There is also comfort in uncertainty. Not knowing whether life exists elsewhere does not diminish our own existence. Instead, it allows wonder to remain open-ended. The universe doesn't demand that we answer every question. It allows mystery to coexist with meaning. The possibility of life beyond Earth can be held gently, without needing proof or resolution. Another peaceful aspect of this question is that it doesn't require action. We don't need to find life elsewhere for our own lives to matter. Whether we are alone or not, the universe continues to unfold calmly. Stars form and fade, galaxies drift, and space expands quietly. Life on Earth remains precious regardless of what exists beyond it. The idea of life beyond Earth can also deepen our appreciation for our own planet. Knowing how rare and delicate life-supporting conditions can be encourages care rather than fear. Earth becomes not just our home, but a quiet example of how the universe can support life under the right circumstances. This perspective fosters gratitude and calm awareness. Another gentle fact is that the distances between stars and planets are immense. Even if life exists elsewhere, it may be separated from us by such vast stretches of space that interaction is unlikely. This separation does not imply isolation in a negative sense. It implies spaciousness. The universe allows life to exist independently, without crowding or interference. There is also something soothing about the slow pace of discovery. The search for life beyond Earth is not a race. It unfolds over decades, guided by careful observation and patience. Each new finding adds a small piece to the picture, without rushing toward conclusions. This approach mirrors the universe's own rhythm, slow and steady. Life beyond Earth, if it exists, may not experience time the way we do. It could evolve more slowly or more quickly, shaped by environments very different from our own. This variety adds depth to the concept of life, making it less rigid and more adaptable. Life becomes a possibility woven into the universe rather than a unique accident. Another comforting idea is that life does not need intelligence or technology to be meaningful. Simple life forms can exist quietly, contributing to their environments without complexity or ambition. The universe does not prioritize awareness or advancement. It allows existence to unfold in many forms, each valid in its own way. The question of life beyond Earth also invites reflection on connection. Even if we never encounter other life, we share the same universe. We are made of the same basic ingredients, shaped by the same forces, and carried forward by the same flow of time. This shared foundation creates a quiet sense of belonging even across vast distances. There is also peace in knowing that the universe is not waiting for us to discover everything. Life beyond Earth does not depend on our recognition. It can exist unseen, just as many things in the universe do. This independence removes pressure and allows exploration to remain gentle and curious. As your thoughts slow further, the idea of life beyond Earth can rest comfortably as a possibility rather than a problem to solve. It doesn't demand belief or disbelief. It simply exists as an open question, inviting wonder without urgency. The universe feels larger and calmer when we allow space for such questions without needing answers. Life, whether alone or shared across the cosmos, unfolds quietly within this vast setting. The night sky becomes not a source of uncertainty, but a reminder of how much room there is for existence to take many forms. As we imagine distant planets orbiting distant stars, perhaps hosting environments unlike anything we know, we can allow our minds to drift with the idea rather than chase it. The universe does not hurry, and neither do we. Possibility itself can be a place of rest, where curiosity remains soft and the mind feels free to wander without expectation. The gentle question of life beyond Earth does not close doors. It opens them slowly, offering a sense of openness and continuity. The universe feels less confined, more spacious, and quietly alive with potential, whether that potential ever reveals itself to us or not. As our journey through the universe continues, we arrive at an idea that feels both subtle and steady. Beyond the stars we can see, beyond the matter we can measure, there are forces quietly at work, shaping the cosmos in ways we don't fully understand. These forces don't announce themselves with brightness or sound. They don't rush or demand attention. Instead, they operate gently, continuously, forming the underlying structure of the universe while remaining mostly unnoticed. Thinking about them doesn't need to create tension. It can invite a sense of calm acceptance, reminding us that mystery can be stable and dependable rather than unsettling. One of the most reassuring facts about these unknown forces is that they are consistent. Whatever they may be, they have been acting on the universe for billions of years without sudden change. Galaxies form, move, and evolve in ways that suggest deep order beneath the surface. Even when we don't fully understand the reasons behind certain motions or patterns, the results are steady and predictable on large scales. The universe doesn't behave randomly. It follows quiet rules that hold everything together over immense spans of time. Gravity is a familiar example of a force we live with every day, yet even it was once deeply mysterious. For most of human history, people could observe gravity's effects without knowing its nature. Objects fell, planets moved, and tides rose and fell, all guided by something unseen. This long period of not knowing did not stop the universe from functioning perfectly. In the same way, the forces we don't yet understand today continue to shape reality without disruption. Lack of explanation does not equal instability. Some of these unknown influences are revealed only when we look at the universe on its largest scales. When scientists observe how galaxies cluster together, how they form long chains and vast empty regions, they see patterns that hint at guiding forces beneath the visible surface. These patterns are not chaotic. They repeat across the cosmos, suggesting that something steady and uniform is at work everywhere. This uniformity brings comfort. It tells us that the universe behaves the same way in all directions, without preference or bias. Another gentle realization is that many unknown forces act very slowly. They don't create sudden events that disrupt the universe's balance. Instead, they influence motion over millions or billions of years. This slow pace ensures stability. Even major changes in the cosmos unfold gradually, allowing stars, galaxies, and planetary systems to exist for long periods without interruption. The universe values continuity, and these subtle forces support that continuity quietly. Some forces may shape space itself, influencing how distances change over time. Space is not a rigid stage on which events unfold. It is flexible and responsive, stretching and shifting gently under the influence of energy and matter. These changes are so subtle that they are completely unnoticeable in daily life. The ground beneath us does not shift, and the stars in the night sky appear steady. Yet on the largest scales, space evolves calmly, guided by influences that work without urgency. Another calming aspect of these unknown forces is that they do not interfere with the everyday structures that allow life to exist. Planets continue their orbits, stars shine steadily, and galaxies hold together. Whatever these forces may be, they respect the balance that already exists. They do not disrupt local systems or create instability where none existed before. The universe maintains harmony across scales, from the smallest particles to the largest structures. There is also peace in recognizing that the universe does not require us to understand every force in order to function. Reality does not pause while we search for explanations. It moves forward smoothly, guided by principles that remain effective whether we understand them or not. This can soften the pressure we sometimes place on ourselves to make sense of everything. The universe shows us that understanding can come gradually, without stress or urgency. Unknown forces also invite a broader view of knowledge itself. Human understanding has always expanded slowly, building layer upon layer over time. What feels mysterious today may feel familiar in the future, just as gravity and motion once did. The presence of unknowns does not represent failure. It represents potential. The universe offers endless depth, allowing discovery to unfold at a pace that matches its own calm rhythm. Another gentle fact is that these forces do not operate with intention or judgment. They do not act with purpose in a human sense. They simply exist, following consistent patterns. This lack of intention removes any sense of threat. The universe is not pushing toward a goal or outcome. It is simply unfolding according to its nature, one moment at a time. The stability of these unknown forces also contributes to the universe's predictability. Even when we don't know the underlying cause, we can often observe the outcome with great accuracy. Stars follow predictable paths. Galaxies move in consistent ways. Light travels steadily across space. This predictability suggests that whatever we don't yet understand fits smoothly into the universe's overall structure. There is something deeply calming about the idea that mystery itself can be stable. We often associate the unknown with danger or uncertainty, but the universe offers a different perspective. Its greatest mysteries are not chaotic. They are woven into a system that has remained balanced for billions of years. The unknown does not disrupt order. It supports it quietly. Another comforting thought is that these forces are universal. They are not limited to specific places or moments. They act everywhere, shaping the cosmos uniformly. This universality creates a sense of coherence. No matter where you look, the same underlying principles apply. The universe does not change its rules from place to place. It remains consistent and dependable. As scientists continue to study these forces, they do so with patience rather than urgency. Discoveries emerge slowly, often after long periods of careful observation. This process mirrors the universe itself, which reveals its nature gradually. There is no rush to understand everything at once. Knowledge grows as a quiet companion to time. Unknown forces also remind us that the universe has layers beyond what we immediately perceive. What we see, the stars, planets, and galaxies, is only part of the story. Beneath that visible layer lies a deeper structure, guided by influences that don't need to be seen to be real. This layered reality adds richness rather than confusion, making the cosmos feel more complete. There is also reassurance in knowing that these forces do not act unpredictably. Even when we cannot describe them fully, their effects are consistent. The universe does not surprise us with sudden shifts in behavior on large scales. It remains calm, orderly, and balanced. This reliability allows existence to continue without interruption. The presence of unknown forces also invites a gentler relationship with curiosity. Curiosity does not need to lead to immediate answers. It can exist as a quiet interest, a soft awareness that there is more to discover. The universe welcomes this kind of curiosity, offering hints without demanding conclusions. As your thoughts slow and your awareness softens, it can be comforting to imagine these unseen influences working quietly in the background. They do not compete with one another or create conflict. They cooperate naturally, guiding the universe's evolution without force or noise. Everything continues smoothly, supported by principles that remain steady even when unnamed. These forces also help maintain balance between change and stability. The universe evolves, but it does so without losing coherence. New structures form while old ones persist. Expansion occurs without collapse. Motion continues without chaos. The unknown plays a role in preserving this balance, acting as a quiet foundation beneath visible change. There is something soothing in realizing that the universe does not rely on constant activity or explanation to remain whole. It allows much of its structure to operate silently beyond observation. This silence is not emptiness. It is presence without intrusion. Unknown forces can also deepen our appreciation for the visible universe. When we recognize that stars and galaxies are shaped by influences we don't fully understand, their beauty feels more profound. They are not isolated objects, but expressions of deeper patterns at work. This connection adds meaning without requiring comprehension. Another peaceful aspect of these forces is that they do not demand control. Humans often seek to manage or manipulate what they understand. The universe does not offer that option for its deepest layers. Instead, it invites respect and acceptance. Some things exist simply to exist, not to be controlled or fully explained. As we continue this gentle exploration, the idea of stable mystery becomes easier to accept. The universe does not hide its nature out of secrecy. It reveals itself at a pace that matches its own scale. This pace is slow, steady, and kind to those willing to observe without rushing. The unknown forces shaping the cosmos remind us that understanding is not required for peace. The universe does not become less calm because we lack certain answers. It remains balanced, expansive, and quietly supportive of all that exists within it. As the night deepens and your thoughts drift further, you can allow these ideas to settle without effort. The universe is held together by forces both known and unknown, working in harmony. Mystery does not threaten stability. It is part of it. In this way, the cosmos offers a powerful lesson. Not everything needs to be fully understood to be trusted. Some of the most important influences are those that work silently, consistently, and without attention. The universe rests on these quiet foundations, allowing everything else to unfold gently, one moment at a time. As our journey through the universe gently comes to rest, we find ourselves arriving at a quiet and comforting place. A place not filled with answers, but with acceptance. After drifting through vast distances, unseen forces, deep mysteries, and possibilities beyond imagination, there's a calm realization that begins to settle in. We don't need to understand everything to feel at peace. The universe does not ask that of us. It simply continues, steady and patient, whether we are questioning it or resting beneath its stars. For much of our lives, we are taught to seek answers, to solve problems, and to make sense of everything around us. Curiosity is natural, and understanding helps us feel grounded. But the universe gently reminds us that not all questions are meant to be resolved quickly or even at all. Some questions exist simply to widen our sense of perspective. They invite wonder without pressure, allowing the mind to open rather than strain. When we look up at the night sky, we are met with more space than certainty. The stars do not explain themselves. The darkness between them does not demand interpretation. And yet, there is comfort in that quiet openness. The universe is vast enough to hold unanswered questions without becoming unstable. In fact, it has done so for billions of years, unfolding calmly long before we ever looked up and wondered. There is something deeply soothing about realizing that the universe is not incomplete just because we don't fully understand it. Its beauty, balance, and structure exist independently of our awareness. Galaxies form, drift, and evolve without concern for whether they are observed. Time flows gently forward. Space expands. Energy moves quietly from one place to another. Nothing feels rushed, and nothing feels out of place. As we rest within this idea, the pressure to know begins to soften. We don't need to solve the mysteries of dark matter, distant life, or the edges of existence tonight. Those questions can remain exactly where they are, held gently by the universe itself. There is no deadline for understanding. There is no urgency written into the fabric of space. In many ways, the universe models a kind of patience we rarely allow ourselves. It doesn't hurry toward conclusions. It doesn't demand constant activity. It allows vast stretches of quiet to exist between moments of change. This rhythm is not empty. It is restorative. It gives structure room to breathe and time room to stretch. The unanswered questions we've explored are not gaps in meaning. They are spaces of possibility. They remind us that existence is larger than explanation. That reality is not diminished by mystery, but enriched by it. Just as silence in music gives shape to sound, the unknown gives depth to what we know. There is also comfort in recognizing our place within this vastness. We are not expected to carry the weight of understanding the universe. We are small, yes, but not insignificant. We are part of this unfolding story, made from the same materials as stars and shaped by the same forces. Our role is not to control or define the cosmos, but to experience it, sometimes actively and sometimes quietly from a place of rest. When the mind becomes tired from thinking and wondering, the universe does not disappear. It continues exactly as it was. Stars continue to shine. Space continues to stretch. Time continues its gentle flow. Nothing depends on our attention in order to exist. This can be incredibly reassuring. It means we are allowed to rest without falling behind. As you lie listening now, you can imagine the universe extending far beyond this moment, far beyond this night. Somewhere, galaxies are drifting slowly. Somewhere, light is traveling across distances so vast it will take millions of years to arrive. Somewhere, questions exist that no one has asked yet. And all of it unfolds quietly without tension or noise. There is no rush to wake up and understand more tomorrow. The universe will still be there. The mysteries will still be waiting, unchanged and patient. You can return to them whenever you like. Or you can let them be, knowing that they don't need your attention in order to remain meaningful. Resting within the unanswered allows the mind to release its grip. It invites the body to follow, easing into stillness. Thoughts don't need to be resolved. They can drift, like distant stars moving slowly across the sky. Nothing needs to be held tightly. Nothing needs to be pushed away. In this moment, it's enough to simply exist. To breathe. To listen. To feel supported by a universe that has carried on calmly for billions of years and will continue long after this night has passed. You are not separate from it. You are part of it, resting briefly within its vast and steady rhythm. If sleep begins to arrive, you can allow it without hesitation. The universe does not require your awareness to continue. It welcomes rest just as it welcomes curiosity. And if you remain awake a little longer, that's perfectly fine too. You can stay here, floating gently among ideas that don't demand answers. As this journey comes to a natural close, you might find comfort in knowing that not knowing everything is not a failure. It is a shared condition of existence. Even the universe holds parts of itself quietly, beyond observation, beyond explanation. And still, it remains whole. If you found peace in this slow exploration, you're welcome to return again on another night. There are always more gentle journeys waiting, more quiet reflections, more calm explorations of space, time, and the natural world. For now, you can simply rest, knowing that the universe continues softly around you, offering space, patience, and calm, whether your eyes are open or closed.